Hello and welcome to Speaking from Ignorance, the real podcast about real tennis. I'm Daniel, professional astronomer and professional procrastinator.
Hi, I am Jacque, and I am a professional development coach and a social mobility advocate and a charity doer.
Hi guys, I'm Sid. I'm a professional astronomer and machine learning enthusiast.
Hi, I'm Sammy. I'm a professional particle physicist and small injury connoisseur.
Hi, I am Dr. Robert Oppenheimer. I am become Death, Destroyer of Worlds. No, actually, I'm once again using my chameleon-like powers of acting to disguise my identity. I'm Henry Holmes.
And I'm Stein. I am a professional software engineer.
Wait a second, he's not here before!
Yeah, thanks for joining our podcast. We have a guest, so you
I'm
totally
the guest,
lied
yeah.
at the
Sorry,
end of
we've
the
got
last
somebody
podcast.
with useful, marketable skills on here. This, apart from Jacque, obviously.
Yes.
You know, that's like...
We found one in the wild. They do exist. People who have jobs.
Oh, imagine.
I thought start off with one of those quick little questions that might have something to do with real tennis. I don't know. Find out. But what's something new that you've tried recently? That can be in the week, in the month, over the course of however long you've been at home. A year. I don't know. So I've been crocheting recently. Not
Have
too
you?
recently, because I stopped about a month ago. Yeah, I made an elephant, though.
Oh,
That's quite fun. A small elephant, not to scale.
one-to-one
That would have
scale.
been very
element.
impressive.
Yeah. What else have
I'd
I
like to see
tried?
that.
Oh, I'm on a new exercise regime. It's really painful. But you really learn the beauty of life through suffering.
Is this the ab roller experiment where you
Yeah,
break
man.
your own back?
I tried them again today. I got about 5 in, and then I thought, you know what? I'll try again tomorrow.
So wait, what is part of this exercise routine?
So it's based on Lex Friedman's recent video where he's going to do 15,000 push-ups and 5,000 pull-ups over the course of 30 days. And I thought, well,
Okay.
I can't do that. However, this is a great way to motivate myself to actually do some exercise. So I break it up into 3 things throughout the day. So I've got like a morning, an afternoon, and an evening roughly. And then I do basically just a bunch of bodyweight exercises.
Well, I've been reading a lot of books about travelling. About
Something we can't do, but getting ready for the future.
yeah, you know, I'm getting ready
Pure
for
escapist fantasy.
I'm getting ready basically so that I can go interesting places on a budget. Now that I'm unemployed for the next 2 years, you know, like
Is it a budget greater than negative numbers?
well, depends how charming I am.
Okay.
But
They're paying you an exposure.
I think that our Patreon, the highest tier, should now be funding a special
Your travel.
video where I go to Aachen, the former capital of Charlemagne's Holy Roman Empire, and I just go around and talk about the history of the town. And I think that our fans should pay for that.
Where's Aachen?
It's in Germany near the Dutch and Belgian border.
What's something new you've tried recently, Stein?
Oh god. I guess reading more.
That's what you're reading.
Right now, I am reading The Design of Everyday Things as well as Hooked.
Ah,
Yeah.
I don't know what either of those.
So The Design of Everyday Things is a book about, well, design. And I can't tell you too much because I'm still like, let's see, 22 pages in. But it's talking about all different aspects of design. And then you have Hooked, which is talking about how to build habit-forming products. And it's like describing this framework around getting people engaged with your products and getting them sort of, well, hooked on your product. So, yeah, boring stuff, really.
No, it sounds actually like pretty interesting. It'd be cool to sort of, from the outside view, look into how products are made, what people are looking for when they make products, and how people come up with innovative solutions to problems that may seem minor, but for example, I think we were talking about this yesterday, Stein, but the iPhone, basically smartphones in general, the sort of advent, I mean, we all have smartphones now, but that was just a thing some guy thought, hey, this would be cool.
I was asking if he was talking about like gamification and stuff.
Gamification. Yeah, it's part of it. It's like more of the psychological like backstory to that, and like I think it's in particular Hooked is talking about like a 4-step framework where you have a trigger, which is like like an internal or external trigger. That could mean like an internal trigger would be something like, oh, I'm bored, and an external trigger would be something like a notification that will then drive you to perform an action, which is your product, obviously. And you will then provide the user with a reward, a variable reward, which is very important. And that should help build some sort of make him feel invested. If I get this correctly, I'm only like 20 pages in this book, so I don't know all about it, but that's
Sounds
like
like
that's like the preface that pretty much.
Sounds like you're pretty hooked on this book.
I think being 20 pages into a book and then explaining it is the key premise of the podcast. So
Yes.
I would
That's what we should
perfect.
do. We should do
Yeah.
a sort of amateur book club where we read 20 pages of the book and the blurb, and then we have to
I
explain
think that's
what it's
actually
about.
pretty good.
What about you, Jacque? Have you started any new hobbies recently?
Yeah, so basically, I've moved to London recently, and I've made it my mission to try out as many different things as possible. And I feel like I've done quite well, but I've been doing like a lot of just like random hipstery stuff. So far I've done salsa dancing. I've gone to like a ball pit / club. Oh, that was weird.
Is that
I
Bally
saw some
Ballison?
Shakespeare. Bally Ballison. Everyone loves Bally Ballison. No.
Yeah.
I've seen a gig in a brewery. I've gone to a speakeasy in a fridge. I've crashed at someone's birthday party in Bath. That was great.
Sorry, hang on. When you say you went to a speakeasy in a fridge, I assume you mean you went through a fridge into a building that was a speakeasy.
Yeah.
Not that it was just such a small speakeasy.
It could have been a big
It
fridge.
doesn't count. You can't
It could
just
be like
call
an
your
industrial
own
fridge.
fridge a speakeasy and be like, yeah, I'm going out. I'm so outgoing.
Yeah, I've experienced a sensory deprivation tank. I've been to like a drink and draw pub.
Oh yeah.
I've gone to a cabaret, and I've done like a puzzle around London.
Damn, that's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, you've been doing a lot of cool stuff. And Jacque, I'm just horrified that you haven't come to the cabaret that I host, but okay.
Sorry.
No, he's probably been to a better one, to be perfectly honest.
Jack, wasn't the sensory deprivation tank like a front for a Russian business or whatever?
Yeah,
Something like that.
hang on, yeah.
No. So basically, what happened was, me and my friend one day decided that we should write up both of our bucket lists, and if there was like anything overlapping or anything like really interesting, we should just do that like next week. So he wrote up his, I wrote up mine, and on mine was Russian Cossack dancing. Russian Cossack dancing. I've no idea why. And we actually found like a Russian dance school in London. And I was like, yes, this is perfect. Let's go. And we showed up, and there was no Russian dance school. There was literally nothing. There was no signage. It was just this like door with like a bunch of bells on, and there was just like homeless dude just sat there. I was like, hey, like, is there a Russian dance class here? And he was like, I have no idea, but that sounds awesome. Can I come with you? And I was like, no, stay.
Oh, I was really looking forward to your adventures with this homeless man.
I made a new friend.
Yeah. So I wanted to go to a Russian Cossack dance, but I ended up, helping the homeless out for a day.
Not quite. But yeah, there was like a bunch of bells, like doorbells. I just picked one, pressed it, and then, the door opened. I went down, no questions asked. I mean, like, why would you? And it was downstairs, and like all the lighting became really mellow. It was really weird, actually. And then there was a dude there who was speaking really, really softly. I was like, hi, how can I help you? I'm like, yeah. So I'm looking for a Russian dance school. Have you seen a Russian dance school around there? And he was like, no, actually. But we actually moved in recently, and I did have a suspicion that this place kind of looked like a dance school. So like maybe this is it. And I was like, cool, okay, right, that makes total sense. So where are we? And he was like, yeah, this is a sensory deprivation tank. I could describe it to you, or I could just show you. And then he showed us, and it's pretty cool. And then we had to go, and it was great.
Where in London was this?
Shoreditch.
I was going to say, so Jack, how you have that theory about how you're in the best possible timeline.
Yeah.
I just want to take a moment to think about all of the other timelines. What was down that shady-ass staircase?
No, it stops before that, because it's when Jacque turns to the homeless man that his timeline splinters, and in 99 other timelines he's stabbed. And left to death.
Well, no, in some timelines he makes a lifelong friend and actually discovers this man is a billionaire CEO who's
I like how
undercover
your
pretending to be
only,
homeless to see how people treat him.
logical solution to Jacque becoming friends with a homeless man is he's actually a billionaire. It couldn't just be that the homeless man was nice. No.
Oh no, he could be a homeless man as well. But I'm saying
Okay.
no. But I'm sorry. I'm saying that that's the best possible scenario. Do you know? Like, he could just be a nice homeless man who he becomes friends with. But I think it's somehow more exciting if you then jet set around the world with this.
It happened to me last week.
Sitting on a door in Shoreditch. Shoreditch is nice. Shoreditch is very trendy. Have you been to Box Park in Shoreditch?
I have, of course I have.
Yeah, it's good. Sorry, I'll stop derailing the conversation.
No idea what that is. yeah, sure.
It's a sort of complex made out of shipping containers.
Okay, that's what I thought it was, and I thought, oh, that's too stupid, Sammy. It can't possibly do that.
Yeah, that's why I've only been there twice in the entire time I've lived in London.
You've only been to Shoreditch twice?
Yes, it's quite inconvenient.
Oh, Shoreditch is great, mate.
You prefer Kensington, right, Holmes?
No, I've literally never been to Kensington.
The thing is, Holmes doesn't actually spend that much time outside of Buckingham Palace, so,
Well, I spend a lot of time in Clapham, slumming it. No.
Holmes is the billionaire in disguise as a homeless man who wants to see what normal
It's just his method acting. He's got to get into the role.
Yeah.
I'm not Daniel Day-Lewis. I won't have those aspersions cast at me.
What about you, Daniel?
Have you tried opening your code recently and maybe doing some work?
Oh no. That's no work. That's for another time. I'm not ready to try that yet. I'm trying to think, because obviously I haven't really done anything since the world ground to a halt in March.
Yeah, I remember that.
So the before times. Oh, I guess one thing I've been doing more recently since I've moved to Edinburgh is gone to a lot of classical music concerts. Since there's at least 2 on every week, pretty much. Or
Whoa.
there were.
At the Usher Hall, is that?
Yeah, at the Usher Hall. Yeah.
Are they expensive?
No, for a student they're extremely cheap. So they're £6 for students.
Whoa.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, you can get very cheap concerts in most and plays in most parts of the UK if you're a student. It's like there's a under 25 membership of the English National Opera, where you can see everything for under £20, whereas the tickets are normally about £150.
Yeah, like the normal tickets will be like £30 or £40 for like the best seats, and I can get those. For
Edinburgh
£60.
has a fantastic jazz scene down there. You should go around a few jazz bars.
I don't know, that jazz.
I like listening to people who play the right notes.
Like, I guess you could technically call it music at times. Now, jazz is cool. You've been to a lot of jazz stuff in London, right, Jacque?
I've tried.
Have you been to Ronnie Scott's?
Not yet. It's so expensive, man.
It is so expensive. I've been in there once, and I'm not sure it's worth the money, to be honest.
You into jazz, Stein?
Into jazz. I like Snarky Puppy.
Hell yeah.
I'm not sure if it's
That's
jazz
more
or
fun.
just big band, but
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I don't know.
that funk is
They
actually,
do a lot of jazz stuff. It is, using jazz techniques.
I mean, that like blur between jazz and funk, like who knows? It's someone that
They also have about
it's like
13
Jacob Collier,
instruments,
right?
so
yeah, some jazz in there somewhere.
yeah.
But
I don't know. That percussionist, he's got like a clavinet with a castle bar mod
he's got
and
everything.
the NPR Tiny Desk video, and oh God, okay. So his instrument probably costs more than my house.
Oh yeah. Like,
I think at that point it's like, yes, this is pure jazz.
but there is a sort of weird point with music in any genre at a certain level where you just go, I need this instrument to progress.
Yeah, not with singing.
No, not with singing. You're straddled.
Can't
you're
just
straddled
replace
with what
those
you've
like
got,
Darth Vader.
and with your technique. Though I don't know if you've ever had these voice lozenges called vocal zones, because they were invented for Enrico Caruso. So it proves there is always a new level to go to.
Are they filled with helium?
No, they're filled with. I've got some somewhere. I can't remember what's in them, but they're basically really, really powerful for cleaning mucus from your sinuses, and it's got sort of
right.
mint and things that opens up the.
Gotta clear those pipes.
Yeah, it opens up all the.
So it's just like fancy lozenges.
Yeah, they're really fancy lozenges.
Vocal lozenges, actually, I think.
But they are literally designed for professional singers. Vocal
See, that is like one of those innovative things where it's like, we need professional grade lozenges. Who thought of that? Who thought, lozenges are cool, but we can market them towards singers.
I suspect that the guy who thought of it, Sid, was someone who was thinking, now you know what would make a lot of money? Professional grade lozenges. The same as regular lozenges, but 20 times more expensive. What is our guest section today?
Well, our guest, Stein, do you want to introduce yourself? What you do?
Sure. I'm Stein. I'm a software engineer in the Netherlands, north of Netherlands, Groningen. And I am currently employed at HackerOne, which is an American company that basically has a platform for bug bounties. And so we have like two customers. We have people with software like Rockstar Games or Uber or like Xiaomi, that kind of stuff. And then we have randoms from all over the internet that have an account on HackerOne, and they can like hack those companies. And then when they find a security vulnerability, they can report it through the HackerOne platform. And then there'll be some triaging, there'll be some back and forth, and if everything seems good, then they'll get paid through the HackerOne platform.
So do you get people who try and be smartasses about it and hack HackerOne instead?
Yeah, but we're also on the platform. We're on our own platform.
Okay. That's clever.
Yeah.
Already future-proof yourself.
It's like eat your own dog food.
Well, I assume that's step one. We're going to set up a platform that allows you to hack other companies. And then you don't put yourself on that platform. That's just...
I don't know for sure, but I can imagine that we'd be our first customer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is the number one move. Make sure that you are indeed benefiting from the service you provide.
So capacity do you work in for HackerOne? Do you work as somebody who hacks, or do you work as somebody who sort of goes and verifies that other people have actually found a security vulnerability?
Neither. So I work as a product developer, software engineer, and I just work on the platform. So as you can imagine, there's a lot of code. There are a lot of systems, both internally and externally. And yeah, I just work on various projects.
Mhm.
I'm not sure how much I can tell you about the project I do because they're all
Fair enough.
sort of-
Yeah.
So what made you go into this sort of field?
You mean software engineering? Or
Software engineering, but with a sort of focus on HackerOne. Like, what about this job appealed to you over something else?
So I was
that is
actually
also within software
working a government job before this, software engineering, and I really didn't like the lack of autonomy and like the low ambition. I'd say I'm pretty damn driven, and so I was looking for a place where I could just like go 100% full ham, and HackerOne is definitely the place. Plus, it's security. I've done a lot of security related stuff. My as I was saying, my minor in Wolverhampton was actually IT security management, risk analysis, and IT security. So I've always been interested in that security aspect. But I've tried hacking. I think it's kind of boring. It's basically a glorified software tester, which
Damn it, the movies lied to me.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, it's nothing like the movies.
You just randomly smash your keyboard and green lines go up your screen. That's how you
Green
hack,
C
right?
code
Yeah,
that
yeah,
comes up.
And
You have to have the keyboard sort of in line with the camera.
yes, if you have two keyboards, you actually go faster. So
Mhm,
Ah, that's
yes.
true. Yeah.
And you also need to have 3 monitors minimum to be a really
Yeah.
good
That's
hacker.
why I always have 2 monitors on my desktop and both my laptops open every day.
yeah.
And your screen is so bright, it projects the lines of code over your face.
Onto your
Yeah, but you gotta get
yeah.
the anime lens flash over your glasses.
Yeah, but you wear a balaclava as well because obviously.
And
you're
then you go,
hacking.
you know,
Yeah.
they're using a triple encryption system. Is that a problem? Not for me.
I'm in.
Yes, exactly.
And you're in within 10 minutes max. as
Oh
well.
yeah, and it's also it's which I think is very important for me. It's an international company, so like I said, it's an American company, and there's like opportunity for traveling about up and down San Francisco, and like offices around the world, and you know that really appeals to me. So
Wait a second. Do you live in America?
No.
No. Okay,
No.
good. I was like,
So-
okay, I've got this.
Where have you travelled so far as a result of those kinds of opportunities?
Well,
Nowhere.
Back to your house.
yeah, up and down my house.
Well,
I've only been disclaimer.
This
I've
is a
only,
recent job,
Yeah,
right?
I've only been working it for 2 months now.
Oh, fair enough. Okay.
Oh, right.
2
yeah.
months.
yeah,
Oh,
well,
wow.
perfect time
Yeah.
Yeah.
to transition over.
Well, travel now. would be
Yeah, no, they
interesting.
were like, so do you mind going to San Francisco? I'm like, no, please. And then COVID happened, and now it's like, yeah, we'll see when the flights continue again in 2 years, maybe. Because it's business
Yeah.
flight, it's business travel as well, right? So they don't want to take any risks because if you get sick or ill or whatever, and you end up, God forbid, in an American hospital, then you know
Well,
that bill is for the
You're
company.
bankrupt. Yeah.
So Stein, you mentioned that you're a product developer. So does that mean you're building the like HackerOne as like a system where people can log in?
Yeah, so I'm specifically in the team that works on the like hacker-facing products. So that really is like the app that they go in and like file reports and that kind of stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, it's very rewarding, very fun, especially because it's like all modern stuff.
How much do these bug bounties normally go for?
So that sort of depends on the impact and also the timing. So if you're a company and you just start with HackerOne, then I think what we'd probably advise you to like keep your minimum and max bounty quite low. So that would be between $50 and like $5,000. And then once you progress and you you become more bug
So
free.
that's your low max.
Yeah.
$5,000. Okay.
Yeah, and then if you become more risk free, then I mean I've seen bounties. I think past month of like $20,000, and if you get invited to like private programs, it might even go up from there. But it sort of depends like on impact and also the type of company you're hacking. Obviously, if you're hacking some random like no name, or not no name, that's not nice, but like some like small business, then it'll be low. But if you hack like Amazon or Twitter or Facebook, then yeah, you'll like for Facebook has notoriously high bug bounty fine like rewards, like 50 grand or something. It's pretty yeah, it can go up pretty quickly, and there's definitely a lot of people on our platform that earn their living through HackerOne.
That's really cool how you've provided a service to people who would, well, I don't want to say potentially go down the wrong route, but they've obviously got a passion for this thing, and just being able to provide that opportunity so they don't have to sort of do it themselves.
Yeah, and it's definitely a quid pro quo, right? Because they're offering a service, and the companies are benefiting, and they are benefiting, and I mean, especially
you get
for
paid
like
so much.
Yeah, especially for like if you live in India, then $5,000 is a lot more than if you live in America or Europe.
And so $50,000 is a hell of a lot.
I would still like $5,000 though.
Yeah,
if you are giving it out.
Hey, you can always sign up. You can sign up and give it a go. Yeah,
that's what I think is really cool about the HackerOne model. Though, is anyone can do it. Anyone can be a hacker. I think you mentioned at one point that they've also got a course, right?
Yeah. There's a Hacker 101 course. Although I will say that it is like it's very bare bones, and to become a real hacker, you really need to spend a lot of time and have like a pretty good idea of how everything works, like the whole stack.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, I'll open it up for a bit more questions because I've got a lot of questions.
Yeah, I have a question. You said that most of your clients are private companies like Amazon and Twitter or whatever. Do you also provide services for like government systems?
Yeah.
Or do you not do that?
So we have the American Department of Defense as a customer, and lately, just a couple of weeks ago, we were FedRAMP approved, which means we can now work for government agencies and bodies. And yeah, it's basically we approach the standpoint of we are a doctor. Like we don't go in on what businesses do unless they are blatantly like unethical. But even that is up for debate, which I won't go into. But yeah, we are a doctor, right? And what we want to do is we want to help the world build a better and safer internet. And so that is our mission, and that's our goal. And we want to empower the community whilst doing it. So we don't really start evaluating every company like really concretely on, how do we feel about this or how do we feel about that.
I like that. I do like that attitude.
So it's a kind of Hippocratic oath of code.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's about building a safer internet for everybody, and that also means that maybe there are customers that you personally don't agree with, but that's just the business.
Exactly.
If you're a doctor, you cannot really say, "Oh well, you're a Tottenham fan, so get lost."
Wow, I'm just imagining that doctor in my head. It was so richly drawn.
Like, whoa.
Stein, how do you incorporate your passion for design into your job?
So we have product designers that work on our products, and basically for each initiative, a technical lead is chosen to lead the technical side of the project. And whenever I'm technical lead, that's been one so far, but I'm planning to do so in the future as well, is I pay particular attention to stuff like user experience and like whether design makes sense. And I'm not very likely to back down on anything like user experience related. And at the same time, I follow like what the design team is doing. And there are some projects where when a product designer isn't involved, that's usually for internal products where user experience may not be a super top priority. I tend to, pay particular attention to user experience there because obviously I think it does matter. I think shitty user experience is like, I don't know, it just
It's a shitty product.
drives me mad.
Yeah, because it's literally what the user experiences. It's the end game.
It is for me,
them.
but there's also a lot of people that say, well, if you can get close enough and achieve high impact, then that's fine. And I suppose that's correct, but
It works, but you want to go that little extra step.
Yeah, like Apple didn't get where it was by being good enough. That's IBM, and that's Windows, Microsoft. But yeah, that's not. I don't find that particularly inspirational to be good enough. I want to be like exceptional.
The very best, like no one ever was.
Exactly. Catch them all.
Catch all the
A
bugs.
man of culture, I see.
Yes. So that's how I try to incorporate my interest in design in my work. It's just by sort of forcing it in and shoving it down everybody's throat when I'm the supreme leader on a project.
necessary.
Yeah.
So, how many tickets or what were they called? Bug bounties do you guys normally have?
So do you mean like findings or do you mean like programs?
I was talking about like I don't know clients looking for ethical hackers.
I don't know like from the top of my head, but there's I guess around 200 public programs, and then that's like 10% of our clientele. Then there's like a whole bunch of private programs. Where,
It seems odd though, because like, what is the legality behind that? Because it must be like
behind private programs.
as in like starting. I don't know. I feel like you must have to sign something if you start trying to hack the American government.
So you get like an NDA, and you get like you have to sign all this paperwork, and you have to be like approved. So there'll be some background check, I can imagine. I'm not entirely sure like to what extent all this happens, but I believe this is sort of how it works. But again, I've only worked there for 2 months, so I could be wrong. But I do know that for other programs, you sign an agreement before you start. And that's also like sort of like the reason for HackerOne to exist is because a lot of hackers previously, when they found a bug, they would contact a company and it'd be like, hey, I found this security issue, you should probably fix it. Only for the company to turn around and sue them. And so, and at the same time, and at the same time, from the company's perspective, you have hackers that are like, have this really vague report, like this really vague finding, and then they're like, yeah, pay us money or we'll make this public.
Yeah, basically holding them ransom.
And so HackerOne is sort of like an easier way for everybody to just get along and not sue each other or like threaten each other.
So, what personally is an accomplishment that you're proud of so far at HackerOne?
Well, it's been 2 months. Yeah.
You've already been a technical lead.
Yeah. Well, one was getting my foot in the door in the first place. Like American software companies, San Francisco, 8 interview rounds. That was very stressful, but
8, that's a lot.
Jesus Christ.
Wow, you must really be an expert.
Sure. Depends who's asking.
That's what he said in the interviews.
Yeah. But to be
they
fair,
must
they actually
be like
work.
hemorrhaging money through recruitment costs.
Yeah, but getting the right crew together is really important, right?
And yet they still messed it up. They hired you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but 90% right is
Exactly,
still...
yeah.
Exactly.
It's bullshit my way through.
It's close enough,
But for proud, like, I guess just managing the project I'm working on right now, and like the fact that we actually surpassed deadlines, like we got it done quicker than expected, and yeah, just people being very positive of the like project work that I did beforehand. I think that's definitely so far my proudest achievement. Yeah, like working on solo projects that then get some traction within the company. It's pretty cool.
What sort of solo project?
Let's
Vague
see.
description.
So I built something where we can. So basically, we have a bunch of icons in our code, but we don't really know what icons we have in total. Like we can see them, but you have to like open them individually, and it's a headache. So I made something where we can just go to like a certain. It's called Storybook, but then we go to like our Storybook where all the components of our front end, our UI basically, are stored. And then I added an additional entry for like icons, and then when you click it, you can see all the icons we have in our thing. That's some of the personal projects. I've been working on like a feature where hackers can press a button in, like when you're filling in the report, you can press a button to start a recording, and then it will like start a web recording. You know, similar to how like when you like go to use Google Hangouts, you know, where it starts like a video, similar to that, and it will start like recording your screen, and then you can like show what you've done and stop the recording, and it'll be automatically attached to the report, that kind of stuff.
That's a really cool feature.
Yeah, it's not done yet, so but it sort of works now. It just needs to be cleaned up a little.
Nice.
And that's also a thing that I absolutely love about HackerOne is that you get like the opportunity to actually work on these. They call 20% projects where you can spend 20% of your time working on projects
that is really cool.
like projects that either help you to become a better developer or
Yeah.
to like make, you know, start like personal initiatives like the icon library or the recording feature, which is like
because that's something I sort of take for granted right now. Because as a PhD student, though I'm, paid to do whatever my research work is at the time, I also I think it's 20% of my time, or no, technically it's 25%. I think it's my education, so.
Yeah.
That is sort of my free time to get me up to speed with the topics I need.
Which is
to
funny
know.
because you're getting educated all the time, right? Even when you're working.
Yes, but it is the sort of thing where I still attend lectures, mainly online. I just go and find lectures online now to learn more about my subject. Because it's not up to my supervisors to teach me that. It's very much up to me to, get the skills required to do the job.
Yeah.
It's nice. Actors get that time as well, actually. It's called being unemployed.
100% time. Yeah.
The 100% time, yeah.
Um,
Yeah, and that's also how Google became, like, for instance, Gmail is actually like an initiative that was born out of like Google's version of 20%. So just some engineers that got together and were like, hey, let's make an email client that doesn't suck, and then. Ooh.
But in terms of that idea of what Sid was saying and what Stein was saying about branching out and actually looking at things that make you better at doing your job, I was joking about the unemployment thing because, I do actually have, that is a thing that happens in my industry
You have
as well.
people to be unemployed for you.
There's the Actors Centre in London, for instance, and things like that. There are constant classes and constant things that are done all the time to maintain, not even to improve, but actually just to maintain the current level of skill that you have when you leave drama school, because actually you do spend so much time unemployed that you need to do that just to keep your skills current.
That's very cool.
And it's an American model that's come across the Atlantic and is, I think, actually been one of the really healthy things to enter the sort of British theatrical establishment.
Yeah, the acting community sounds like so dope. Like all these cool initiatives and stuff.
Oh, it costs so much money though. We've got no money.
I mean,
Hemorrhaging money from government.
And the whole thing is run by a cabal of casting directors and agents who control access to everything in the industry. So it does have its downsides too.
Yeah.
Speaking of skills though, Stein, do you have a sort of preference in terms of programming language or?
I wouldn't say programming language, but I definitely have a preference working on the front end side of things. So that's to say, like UIs, interfaces, that kind of stuff. Mainly
as opposed to backend, how would you describe that?
Backend is basically getting data, like input data, and then processing it, putting it in databases, that kind of stuff, and then returning it back to the front end. And the front end then makes it pretty and readable and nice. But
Who
yeah,
needs anything to be readable? What? That's never been important.
you'd be surprised.
Just crying while staring at my own code.
So Stein, you mentioned that you've worked here at HackerOne for 2 months, and you also used to work for the Dutch government. Is that right?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So how long have you been in the like software and tech industry for?
So like I started playing with computers like when I was 5. So I've been always playing with computers. But actually working in a software industry or like in engineering, I started my degree when I was 18, I think. Yeah. And then, so since I was 18, I've been like actively working on software engineering. And
Forgive me,
so
Stein,
yeah.
I've
How old
never
am I,
actually
right?
met you. I have no idea how old are you.
Yeah. No, good
He's
point.
47.
Stein's actually 71.
Yeah. That's a very good point. So I'm 25 now. So it's been 7 years. But then also like when I was just playing with like Game Maker, making video games for myself when I was like 13 all the way up to 18.
So is it something like this particular job or this field is something you've known you wanted to do since you were quite a young child?
No. So I've always, when I was a child and growing up, I always thought that like watching like, I don't know, Saving Private Ryan, Apocalypse Now, that kind of stuff was always like, oh, the military is super dope. And like I had a grandfather that served in Suriname, which wasn't that great of a conflict, to be honest. But I was always like, oh yeah, military sounds super dope. So I always wanted to be in the military. And then I think right before I was sort of like getting to the point where I had to choose what I wanted to do, the military just started firing like a whole bunch of people. And I was like, okay, if they can just fire people out of nowhere, then maybe that's not a good choice. Also because of like my education level, some guy was like, yeah, no, you can be like an NCO, but that's about as far as you'll get. I was like, okay, well, screw that noise. Then I wanted to join the police, and then the police, because obviously, how do you transition from military to software? So then I wanted to be the police officer, and then it was like, nah, they were not hiring for the next 2 years. And I was like, I've always been playing with computers, and maybe I should just go to the local universities, like introductory day. And I had so much fun there. I was like, wow, this is great. But yeah, so then I went there, and like the first talk was from someone from like the military police, giving a talk about how working in cybersecurity you could get a job at the military police. I was like, excuse me, where do I sign up? And but during my course, it turns out that actually programming, I was pretty good at it, and it was so much fun. And yeah, I sort of gravitated away from the military and towards like just building cool products. And then like I got like an interest in the front end side and like design and user experience stuff. I was like, yeah, I'll just not join the military and work on cool products. But I still have that need for like sort of adventure, and that's also like why I want to work for international companies, because you get to travel, and it's a bit more interesting than just
Similar benefits to the military in that respect. Travel,
yeah, but you don't get shot at. Well, depends where you go.
yeah.
No, but it was yeah. So I didn't always want to be a software engineer, but it sort of grew towards it. I'm really glad I did.
Well, I thought there was a question I have to sort of wrap up, Stein. And what advice would you have for people who are sort of interested in sort of the work that you're doing now, software engineering, but specifically what HackerOne offers in your job?
I was
now?
just about to ask that.
So if you already like know a little bit about software engineering, then my first advice would be to get more experience, and so that probably means not working for the best of companies, but at least you get some experience. And but as soon as you get to a point where you actually become hireable, then just like I spend every waking moment trying to figure out if I'm doing what I want to do, and like I'm very like I only worked for the Dutch government job for half a year because that I thought that was appropriate. It would be inappropriate to leave sooner. But I already knew from like day one that was like, nah, this isn't it. And yeah, just try to be, try to get some experience, but also be very, very honest to yourself. And just if you feel like this isn't it, just quit instantly. Don't think about it. Like, make sure you have something to follow up, obviously. Make sure you have a job lined up first. But I think the best way to get like a satisfying career is to be very honest to yourself. And as soon as you say, oh, this isn't it, just leg it, go do something else, go do something that you think is nice. And you don't have to be sure, right? Because I know, Sid, you said that, oh, data engineer sounds kind of dope. Just give it a go, And if it's not for you, screw it. Then leave.
Try something.
And if it is, great. And if you like it but you don't like the company, just leave the company, right? Just yeah. But
so to sort of boil down your response there, Stein, what you're saying is definitely go out and get as much experience as you can, and don't be afraid to try new things.
Yeah. Don't feel like you're obliged.
Dunk yourself in the deep end, and if it really doesn't work out, float back up, try some more.
Yeah, exactly. And don't feel obliged to stay somewhere just because they offered you a job. If it's not helping you, if it's not getting you where you want to be, then just leave. You have agency. It's your life. It's your job. And they're not going to fire you and then say, oh, actually, but we also lined up this job at Facebook for you. You have to do that yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
They won't care, basically. So
Right.
that's my
Thank
advice.
you very much, Stein.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Well, normally I pick a question. How about what would you study at university if you had to pick a different subject?
That's a really
If
good
I
one.
had to pick a different subject.
That's a really
Oh,
good one.
God.
Yeah, that's the point. Otherwise, I'd probably just do my degree again.
But yeah, no, but let's face it. Jack
think
wouldn't
Jacque
pick
would.
physics again. So,
Oh, hell no. I mean,
Yeah,
no.
exactly. Yeah.
Jacque would pick charity doing.
Charity doing, yeah.
And he'd be very good at it too.
So, yeah, you can find us on Anchor FM, Spotify, no, not SoundCloud anymore,
No,
'cause we're not
not
uploading there. A lot of places except iTunes.
Yeah, we're still not on
YouTube
iTunes.
as well. Yeah, you can find us on Twitter at the handle @FromIgnorance, and you can email us any questions or queries at speaking.ignorance@gmail.com.
Make your emails brief. We are overwhelmed.
Yes, yeah.
Thanks for listening, everybody. See you next week.